based on your genetics, based on your microbial content, based on your nutritional profile, you will respond differently to different foods. And when you take out what's most commonly irritant foods for a while and you add them back in, your body, not a lab, your body is going to be the indicator.
The elimination diet is something we actually teach our students in the curriculum here at Integrative Nutrition. Can you talk a little bit about what that actually is and what it means?
Absolutely. The elimination diet basically eliminates people's symptoms. What we do is we take out the most irritating foods for a period of time, and then we reintroduce those foods one by one, and we determine which one of those foods is friend, which one of those is foe. Because everybody's system is unique. Everybody has different ideas in their lives coming through their microbiome, coming through chemical exposures, and the communication with the food will change over time. So we want to know in this instant what foods work well for you and which ones are making you tired and sick.
So important.
Yeah.
So something that we also teach students at Integrative Nutrition is this idea of bio-individuality, where there's no one way of eating that works for everyone. And at least in my own personal experience, the elimination diet has been a huge part of that in terms of figuring out what actually works for me. So can you talk about how the elimination diet can help people figure out, their own right way of eating that works for them?
Absolutely. So based on your genetics, based on your microbial content, based on your nutritional profile, you will respond differently to different foods. And when you take out what's most commonly irritant foods for a while and you add them back in, your body, not a lab, your body is going to be the indicator. Some people like to use IgG, IgE panels. Some people like to do, ALCAT panels, whatever they're doing to determine which foods work best for them. But I say the best lab is your own body. And if you can listen to what your body is saying after you eat foods, you will have a bio-individual diet that works for you in that moment of your life. So I think the nature of what the elimination diet is speaks to bio-individuality very clearly.
So what are those things that your body might be telling you that the elimination diet can help you with?
Oh, absolutely. My goodness, you name it. The inflammatory diseases we commonly know, like rheumatoid arthritis, like skin disorders, atopic dermatitis, whatnot, there's been fabulous research on those. I mean, if you look back the last 100 years in the data, you'll see like 90% of some rheumatoid arthritis patients got better in elimination diet, 50+% of atopic dermatitis patients, and over 90% of those did not have elevated IgE, meaning it was something other than a standard allergy. You start looking at gallbladder disease back in the late 60s, early 70s, Brenneman, he was able to cure 100% of his gallbladder disease clients on elimination diets. And then you get into migraines at 85%, so it's profound how many different conditions with inflammatory natures are calmed down when you get rid of the irritant foods.
Absolutely. So for those of us who are working as health coaches and we have a client who comes to us who is interested in trying the elimination diet, or we think that they would really benefit from it, what's the best way to get them started and to help guide them through that process, and what resources should we give them?
Oh boy, well, you're always looking at stages of change. You're always determining what your client can do at that moment in their life. So if it's a stressed out mom and she's got 3 kids at home and she's trying to support the entire family, and oh my goodness, I'm not going to say, I want you on this extremely intensive elimination diet. You look at the symptoms, and over time you'll associate certain symptoms like sinus congestion, asthma, for example, constipation. I would say, well, let's definitely consider dairy, or foggy thinking and fatigue and whatnot. I'll think, okay, gluten. So there are certain foods that I would take out dependent on the person, right? However, there are systems out there, there are books out there written on this particular topic. So if you need additional help, you can always refer to those particular books.
Absolutely, which leads me to my next question. You have a book.
I do have a book, and it's titled The Elimination Diet. And really happy to share it, because what happened is someone asked me, they said, what's the most important thing that you need to tell the world about? And I said, well, let me think about that in my clinical practice. It took me 10 seconds. I use the elimination diet all the time, and I've found better success with the elimination diet than anything else. So yeah, it's going to be a book that I think will help thousands upon thousands of people. It's very specific. I eliminate quite a few foods that I've found over the 10 years in clinical practice that have irritated the vast majority of people. And it was a broad spectrum system in that we consider people who have skin problems, mood problems, bowel problems, all sorts of different inflammatory issues, whether it's the pain in the joints, the back, or whatnot. So we eliminate the foods that I've seen both in clinical practice and in scientific literature, and it's incredibly effective. It's incredibly, we're over 93% of migraine people, and a lot of the inflammatory issues in the bowel and with mood. We have over 70% with mood, so it's phenomenal, a phenomenal single intervention that I think trumps most medications out there. So I couldn't wait to share it with the world, and now it's out.
That's fantastic. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here and for being a part of the integrative nutrition community now. And it's just a pleasure getting a chance to talk with you.
Oh, absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.